Mic check 1, 2. All right. Looks like we're better. Can you hear me now? Grumble, grumble, grumble about that, because that was a great intro that I just flubbed. So let's try again. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick, and it is time for some Splinterlands. Happy Static Electricity Day, and what a fitting day for it to be, because I am charged up right now. I was going to try and not talk about DECB for 2 hours today because, well, I've been talking about DECB for the last week because this is quite possibly the worst proposal that they've ever come out with. But, well, it's the last day of voting, so it's time to get this information out there, and I'm glad to have the opportunity. Thank you, Wesquin, for your stream. That was awesome, and yeah, let's dive into it. So, DEC current cost 56.9 cents for the 1,000, right? Current supply, 6.254 billion. These numbers were actually not just updated today. Let's go ahead and do that, actually. I've got the link right here, so why am I bothering to go through bookmarks? All right. Oh, we've gone up a little bit. 59.399 for the 1,000. Boom. Let's go ahead and make sure that we are working with all correct information. And then here we need to go to Kyokiz. As you can tell, we've been working on a bunch of our other spreadsheets as well during this time when we have not been playing due to not having any cards with which to play. But, all right, boom. Oh yeah, we also had another 10 million SPS burn today for DEC, which I don't understand why people are still doing that, but needless to say, they are. Therefore, you know. But, okay, now we've got correct numbers. So we got 6.252 billion DEC currently in circulation. We're not even going to mess with the voucher numbers right now because that's largely irrelevant to the points that we're making here. But, all right, so let's look at this DECB bill, right? Now, starting out, I support the idea behind the DECB. If we can burn a bunch of DEC, then we can increase the, or decrease the circulation, increase the price, get it to that dollar for 1,000 par value, start to engage the flywheel, get SPS price rising, get the economy working the way it's supposed to. I understand that that's where this is coming from, and I do support the idea. It's just that every single detail is completely off about the proposal. Well, no, there is one that's actually good. And that one is the fact that they changed it to make it soulbound. At least it's not transferable anymore. So there is one thing that is right about it. But it shouldn't be another token, because that just, it makes the DEC tokenomics look better while actually making them worse. Because you have to understand that fundamentally DEC and DECB are the exact same thing. You can't use DECB for cards or packs. That's it. That's the only difference between the two of them. And obviously the demand for cards and packs is not enough to drive a sufficient amount of DEC expenditure. Especially considering that even when you are buying cards and packs, it's not doing anything with the DEC. It's just changing hands. That's not getting rid of DEC. The only way we get rid of DEC is by burning it. The only way we're burning it is currently through guild buildings. Upcoming, we have a whole lot of different DEC expenditures that will be burnt that are related to land. This means that what we need is land. So this is just more stuff getting in the way of putting out land rather than just working on putting out land. But that's neither here nor there. I'll get to that in another point. Let's look at this for what it is. So best case scenario, as outlined in the paper, is that, or as outlined in the proposal, is that we would burn 1.6 billion DEC. We print 2 billion DECB. That gives us a circulating supply of DEC post-burn of 4.652 billion, because we lost that 1.6 billion. And at the current rate of demand, that would change our price to 79.826 cents for the 1,000, giving us an increase of roughly 20 cents, but that would be roughly 50% of the way to peg. So even if it worked 100% as intended, in the best case scenario, in a perfect world, it still would only get us halfway to where we need to be. But then we also have to figure that this is not the way things would actually work. This is not that perfect world. And what this would actually do is increase supply by 400 million DEC when we're talking about DECB functionally being DEC. Because even though you can't spend it on cards, or you can't transfer it in the same way that you can transfer DEC, but when it comes to actually changing the supply of DEC by burning DEC, you would be burning DECB first before you burn DEC. And therefore, that means that the total that we have to chew through to make meaningful change in the price of DEC is actually going to be increased to 6.652 billion by this. And that's, again, best case scenario where not a single voucher gets burned in this equation. And that is going to give us a fair price of 55.827 cents for the 1,000. It gives us an increased circulation of 6.39%. Actually 6.4 because the 7 would round up. So this is just, it's flat out inflation, pure and simple, but that's not even the worst of it. Because we all know that the way things are currently written, this is absolutely not going to be how it plays out. So let's go a little bit more extreme on the other side. We'll say, okay, worst case scenario, we burn every single voucher that there is, which according to the proposal was 6 million, but I'm able to find other information here on the Splinterlands rich list. We can see that we pull up vouchers, generate. Total vouchers in circulation is currently over 7 million. Not 6 and not 6.5, which is the two numbers that were put in the proposal. And you can see neither of them is accurate. And then we also need, we don't even need to update the price of voucher. Price of voucher doesn't even come into the equation anywhere. But, so say we burn all of these vouchers, right? 7,005,526. That is going to get 1.401,105,105,011 DECB, which is going to leave a remainder of 598,894,889 DECB that we would get by burning DEC, which would be the equivalent of 479,115,911 DEC that would get burned. From the 6.252 billion, that would give us a grand total circulating supply post-burn of 5.773 billion DEC, and that would drive the price up to 64.32 cents for the 1,000. Okay? Again, however, that's the purely DEC tokenomics, the smoke and mirrors side of things. Looking at the actual side of things, what would have happened there is that we would have created 1,401,105,011 DEC out of literally nowhere, because it came from vouchers, not even from DEC. And then another 119 million that came as increased supply of the difference between the DECB and the DEC. So that's going to give us a total circulating supply of 7,773,423,689 and a fair price of 47.777 cents on the 1,000 DEC, giving us a increase to circulation of 24.32%. Y'all remember how crazy things got when within a year the US printed 20% of the currency that it had ever printed in the last 200 years? That happened in 2020, and look where we are now. This is talking about a potential of increasing the circulation by 24% in 2 months. 2 months! This is not a good idea, people. Now, also, this highly unlikely. We're not going to burn through every single voucher that we have in the game. That would make vouchers prohibitively expensive, and it's very unlikely that that would actually happen. What I think is most likely is it going to be some kind of middle-of-the-road approach, so I've done the math on that as well. Here is what would happen if we burned 50% of the currently extant vouchers that we have. So that would be 3,502,763 vouchers that get burned, giving us 700,552,555 DECB, leaving a remainder of 1,299,447,445 DECB to be acquired by means of burning a DEC, which would be a net burn of 1,039,557,956 DEC. As you can see, all of this is updating automatically whenever I change these numbers because it's all done formulaically. So that gives us a circulating supply of DEC post-burn of 5,212,981,644, which gives us a price, again, assuming that all of the demand is exactly the same, of 71.244 cents for the 1,000. And on the other side of things, where the truth lies, we see that we have increased our supply by 700.552 million from the vouchers, and another 259.889 million from the DEC to DECB discrepancy, giving us a grand total of 7,212,981,644 and a fair price of 51.49 cents on the 1,000 after a 15.36% increase in the circulation. Now, let's go ahead and say, wildest fantasy out there, we actually wanted this to be successful and get DEC to the par value of $1 for the 1,000, right? In that case, how much DEC would we have to burn? Well, we would have to get our DEC post-burn to a total of 3.714 billion, which would require burning 2.538 billion, which would give us a net of 3,046,312,324 DECB. Again, I rounded those off a little bit. That would give us an increased supply of 507,718,721 DEC and DECB combined, for a total of 6,760,258,321, giving us a fair price of 54.938 cents for the 1,000 after a percentage increase in circulation of 8.12. Now, this is all... Oh, yeah, no, and yeah, this is going on today's numbers. Like, this is not even counting the additional vouchers, because remember, 40,000 per day that we're making in vouchers, which is an additional 800,000 vouchers worth of DECB per day that are being printed that could be changed. So these numbers are not accurate as of when this goes into effect. These are accurate as of right this second. And the really crazy thing is that a lot of the people who are so hyped about this project and this proposal are the same ones that are crying out about, we need to change the leaderboard payouts because they're printing more DEC. Well, I've done the math. I went through and I wrote down every single leaderboard position, what it pays out, and how much DEC it gets. And that total, every season, is 6,924,000 DEC. So, of course, we generally have 2 seasons in a month. That means that in a month, we get less than 0.25% of our circulation is increased by the leaderboard payouts. So the people who want to get rid of this are instead voting for this. I mean, best case scenario, we're looking at a 6.4% circulation increase, and we're crying about less than 0.25% in a month. And then I've also seen the argument against, we need to stop burning cards for DEC. Well, this is exactly what current reward cards are worth. If you burn a max level gold legendary reward card, if you burned a max level gold Oceanus for DEC, you're going to get 52,500. That is not even 1/10 of 1% of 1% of our current circulating supply. So this is not something that actually matters in the grand scheme of things. This is not something that actually matters in the grand scheme of things. This actually matters in the grand scheme of things. The leaderboard rewards, and I'm not saying don't change them. I'm not saying packs wouldn't be better. I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. I'm just saying in the long run, 0.11% is relatively insignificant. Yeah, we can change it. I'm not going to be bothered by it. We can change it to packs. I'm fine with that. I don't care. But 7 million twice a month is not going to be the straw that broke the camel's back on DEC. It is negligible and has almost no effect on the market. Even if all 7 million were immediately listed for sale, it would still have almost no effect. However, a lot of that, I'm sure, gets spent on, buying and renting cards or buying packs. That is also, regardless, doesn't matter. Burning cards, again, such a small amount that it really doesn't matter. But when we start talking about increasing the supply by an insane amount like 400,000 or 1.4 billion, these are numbers that actually matter. These are numbers that actually move markets, and this is why this proposal is a dumpster fire. Now I'm going to go ahead and catch up on chat. I think it would be okay for DEC to be... Vouchers also need to be a bit... And I agree. We do need to introduce a way to burn vouchers. My suggestion, for both of these, right? Take vouchers out of the DEC thing, make it not another token, and instead make it staked DEC. We don't need another token. Another token improves the optics on DEC's tokenomics, but it actually makes things worse because it's all the same crap. But if we had staked DEC to where, then we don't have to worry about soulbound or not, but also make it unclaimable. So you stake your DEC and then you require it to be staked for X amount of time. Once it's in for, say, 3 months, then you get a 5% bonus on it. 6 months, you get a 10% bonus. 9 months, you get 15. A year, you get 20%. But then you don't allow it to be unstaked and get that, because that would just be more inflation. Instead, from it being staked, you burn it from there, and that's how you get the bonus. That is how you get the exact purpose of what this proposal is going for, but without actually causing inflation. It still has the issue of that way, when you're burning it, we're not burning through as much DEC as we should be but at least you're not adding in another token which has its own issues. It's still just DEC. It's not transferable. There's no smoke and mirrors and, quite frankly, deception going on. Because that's the other thing about this is it's making DEC tokenomics look better. For an outsider coming in who doesn't know about DEC, all of a sudden, or doesn't know about DEC and DECB, all of a sudden, things are looking a lot better than they actually are because they might not realize that there's this other token which is also doing fundamentally what DEC does. And so, even if we did get it up to the par value and then the flywheel kicks in and everything works as it's supposed to keep it there, and, we're 6 months down the road and somebody is looking at the tokenomics behind this game, deciding whether they want to seriously get into it because they played it and they found that it's an awesome game, but they're on the fence. So they want to do their due diligence and their research before they drop a significant amount of money into it. And then they find out that, okay, well, this is how DEC works. And they start to get intrigued and they're about to decide that. And then they find out about DECB. That is how we lose a significant investor because that is straight up lies. 100%. So, I mean, this is just, it's bad on every level. And like, when the first proposal came out and I thought, okay, well, maybe if it's not soulbound, then I could see myself voting for it. Because obviously that was the big red flag. But even after that was changed, I started, really doing the math. I started looking into it, doing a deep dive, doing my research. And no, there's no way that I could actually support this with it being another token. That is a fatal flaw in the system. It is a poison pill, and it is the worst idea I've heard of in trying to make the economy of the game better. Oh yeah, no, voucher price will definitely go up if the proposal passes. But it won't stay up. It will go up for a short time while it's active, and then it will still be 40,000 per day printed and no other utility, and it will drop back down. I mean, it'll probably take a couple of months before it gets back down to the 8 point something cents that it's at now, but it's not gonna stay up. And my answer for vouchers, they've already committed to putting out the new reward cards every 3 months. Sell them for vouchers. It's fairly simple. Like, vouchers and DEC, that's the sync that we need. And burn them. Not, sent to the company, burn them. Or, okay, company takes a little bit out of it, burn the rest. That's what we need to do is they need to be instituting ways to burn, not instituting a pre-sale on burning. Thing that confuses me is the fact that the voucher price hasn't moved at all. It actually has. We've seen vouchers go up by over a penny. Like, when this proposal was introduced, we were at 7.2 cents. We're over 8.5 now. So vouchers have been moving up. I think that we're going to see the real price action on them after it actually passes. And I'm still of the opinion that it doesn't really matter how hard I rail against this. It doesn't matter how accurate my information is. And I understand that this is not exactly how things are going to go, because this is based on very simple maths relating to the total circulating supply, and it does not count things like DEC held in the DAO, DEC held by the company, DEC that's locked up in liquidity pools and whatnot. So the actual circulating supply is smaller than what I've got here, and therefore price actions will be larger. And also, because DECB is not soul bound, that is not going to actually affect the price as much as what it shows on that side. But that math is a lot harder to really figure out exactly what those numbers are. To do, the equations are all going to be the same, but the baseline, like the actual supplies, that's a lot more difficult to figure out. And while the maths might not be 100% correct down to the letter, or down to the umpteenth decimal and whatnot, the idea behind them is all the same. Like, it's still gonna go the same way. It's just not gonna be exactly, I know we're not gonna burn exactly half of the vouchers. And even if we did, the price is not gonna end up being exactly 71.244 cents on the thousand. But it shows you the difference between where we're at now, where we will be because of this, where we're trying to go, and where the actual supply would put us. Like, all of those things are, still somewhat in flux. And of course, this is not financial advice. This is voting advice. But it's just, it's all there. It's just not exactly there. Yeah, I agree. Some people still haven't understood it. Compared to everything else, 33% is definitely mooning. I'd consider getting some vouchers if I had some land. What's good, Mango? Yeah, so it's ridiculous. This entire proposal is just trash from the ground up. It is a dumpster fire. And I was going to put out a very strong video on it for my YouTube channel yesterday, and then I ran into a buttload of technical difficulties. I was supposed to do a debating video on Jim's channel with Dwayne about it today, but that got postponed to tomorrow, so I'm just hoping that we can get it done and get it out in time for, anybody who, is still making up their mind to access that information and vote properly. I can't tell you how to vote, but I voted no on all of my accounts very strongly, and I encourage you to do the same. Make up your own opinion, do your own research, don't trust my numbers. But if you look into it, you will see that this is correct. And I feel like there is no way that anyone who actually understands this couldn't vote yes for this proposal. And I also understand that almost everybody stands to gain on a personal level. I mean, if you've got even one voucher and, 1,000 DEC, you do stand to benefit personally from this passing because you can take advantage of it. As long as you're fast enough, because I really don't see it lasting 60 days. I really don't even see it lasting a day. Like, I could absolutely 100% see this 2 billion DECB being gone in that first hour. But therein lies my other big problem with this. And this is something that I can't quantify on that spreadsheet. So let me actually pull up the proposal itself, because there's one other huge problem that I have with this. And it's something that I feel like has been unnoticed by the vast majority of people. Once implemented, the SPS stakeholder community can vote to conduct a sale of a specified amount of DECB tokens at any price in DEC and or voucher tokens at any time and for a specified amount of time in order to help bolster the demand for DEC when and if it is needed. Which means that it is not over. Once that 2 billion happens, it is not over. And here is the extreme outlier part of this, and this is what I see as like probably not actually going to happen, because thankfully I think that our community is, even the whales at the top end are not looking to self-aggrandize and enrich in so much of a egregious fashion when it would absolutely kill the game. But there is a potential in here for a move that would absolutely kill the game. If the top 10% of all players, the biggest whales, were to throw in together conspiratorially and vote in another sale of DECB tokens at a price of, say, 0.000001 DEC each, but you had to spend over 1 million DEC to get it, they would be able to force the vote through just on the strength of their SPS, and then they would be able to effectively break the economy. And again, I don't see this actually happening, but it is a definitive possibility, and that is the kind of definitive possibility that cannot be allowed to be encoded in law. And code is law. So if this passes, it is effectively the law of Splinterlands. And that is not something that is acceptable. Like, that is a poison pill of all poison pills. That's a cyanide tooth with a poison pill in it. Like, that is just so ridiculously oversighted to even allow that possibility, that it's just, there's no way that this should actually pass. And the fact that it is tells me that nobody, or very few, are actually doing the research, are reading through this proposal thoroughly, are actually looking into the numbers and doing any sort of math for themselves, or any sort of further thought other than, well, the team says it'll pump the price of DEC, let's go ahead and see what it does. No, the wait and see approach means wait and see, not enact crazy new things to change things up. Like, I'm perfectly fine with people doing the wait and see approach. This is not wait and see. This is, let's just throw everything into a blender and see. Like, no. No. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry that this is even on the table. That's what I'm sorry about. But yeah. Another spreadsheet I've been working on is SPS. Interesting to see, like, where we're actually headed with this. I'm still not done with this. I'm still working on figuring out a way to track things over time and whatnot. But, yeah, we have burned enough now that we can never actually... So, 3 billion is our max mint of SPS, right? There will only be 3 billion ever created. But we have burned enough now that we can actually never get to above 2,935,760,147. Because of the 64,239,853 that have been burned. Some into DEC, some into nodes, and then we also have another 72,766,850 DEC currently held by the DAO. 15 million and change from nodes, 57 million and change from Rift Watchers. So this is just another thing that I'm going to be tracking over time. So our currently circulating supply is 35.36% of our current mint, which is 31.58% of the max mint. So basically, we're just under a billion, almost a third of the way to max mint. But again, we've already been burning a little bit. Actually, I should put in another line here. That is the total burned of the Maximate. Because we've burned almost 20%. Oh, that's of the circulating supply, isn't it? Holazor, my Discord voice chat is open and I'm in there if you want to hop in and say hello. If you want to join me. Same is open to anybody else out there in the chat. If you want to hop on and say hello. There is an open invitation. Oh, I do have something else to show that I was pretty happy about. We got our second gold legendary today. And I believe it was Monday. Maybe it was... No, I think it was Tuesday. I did a bunch of pack openings for Demore because I had potions and he had packs, and he does not have potions and I do not have packs. And I flipped over my first ever gold legendary. And I told him beforehand, I was like, I don't really want necessarily anything for doing it for you. I'm happy to help out and whatnot. But if I flip a gold legendary, I want the opportunity to get it back. And so I did. I finally arranged a trade with him and got my River Hellendale back today. And I think it's hilarious that the only two gold foil legendaries I own are the two cards in the set that have Resurrect. Like, that to me is kind of hilarious. And it tickled my fancy even when I flipped over the River Hellendale and it turned gold. I was like, that's interesting. Alright, is my chat working? Because I don't see anything since Weskin said too much math. Well, I didn't realize how big my head shadow was behind me. Is this on the super bright light? I feel like it might be. Nope, that's the super bright light. That's light off. That is the correct light then. Okay. Yeah, it's working. Nothing since then. Gotcha, Daru. Thank you. And Daru, this was your idea, right? What else would you like to see on here? I know I still got to get into the vouchers one and whatnot. I did not actually stream last night because of those technical difficulties in part, and also some other things, IRL stuff. But you had to leave midstream the other day. That's all right. I'm not going to hold it against you. But if I said you had a nice body, would you hold it against me? Hey, hey, hey. Just playing. Terrible pickup lines are the best. Actually, I watched like a 3-hour-long video on Google Sheets today. So, I'm definitely brushing up on my skills and getting ready to step my Google Sheets up to the next my Google Sheets game up to the next level. Boom, 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 boom. Holozorn, maybe you can tell me. So I wanted to set this up so that when I insert a column here, so that I can just push, the dates down, I want to have all of these reflect C at all times, not move along with it. And I thought I had done that with the absolute when I, cache C, cache 7, but that's still moving along with that. So Spltv values only? Is that supposed to be supply values only? I just want it to pull the values from column C. And then when I'm, add a column to the left of C and push C down so that it becomes D, I want it to stay copying the values from C. Like when I insert a column to the left, this should actually zero out. Anything that's in the red boxes should zero out. Actually, all of this should. Everything from the 97 down to the 35, that should all zero out until I get the information in here. Like, the only thing in here that's a static value is the max mint. Because, obviously, that 3 billion is not going to change. So that's typed in there. All of this is all based on what's here. But I want to, move it down. And then, like, tomorrow, I want to put in all new information with tomorrow's. It should, right? But when I added the column, it's still, even though it was locked, it still moved with it. But it's already got the cache in there. It's already, like, let's delete the column here. Like, this reference is cache C, cache 7, divided by cache B, cache 6. So when I put in another column, it should still be cache C, cache 7, but instead now it's cache D, cache 7. Because, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I've been told by all of the videos that I've looked at. And that works if I move the information, but it doesn't work if I add in. And I really don't want to just, well, I guess I could just, all right. So if I were to do that, and this also needs to not be today. Of course, I'm not going to really update anything because that would be tomorrow, but that's just seems really cumbersome to add the column to the right and then copy it and then start the next day. And then add to the right and then copy it and start the next. I want to just be able to add it to the left. Let's see if we have version history. I want to bring back the 7th actually. I want to Where the heck is version history? There we go. Never mind. What's good, Walk the Grid? Welcome back. How are you doing? What's good, Poppy Thomas? What's good, D-Tam? How are you? How are you? And since I was not on last night, actually, none of this happened. If you are always good, then I am thoroughly jealous, my friend. Always trying to be good. I finished my first book of the year today, Lawrence of Arabia. Definitely a great read. I never really figured I'd be into wars that are more than 100 years old, but was a lot better than I expected it to be. I'll just put it there. Equals indirect G23. Okay, that's what I was looking for, is how to use it in with other stuff. There we go. That did it. No, that's not where we need that. That's all in C. That's what we need there, is the indirects into D. Okay, yep, so... No, I greatly appreciate that. Like that's a world changer right there. So let's see. Can I? No. Okay. D13 by D20. Okay, yeah, so. $16, $20, $466. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alright, that was 20 by 8. Okay. Beautiful. I know it actually looks like it screwed everything up, but now when I put in the new information, it will be correct. So thank you so much. Yeah, that was, that's huge. All right, now here's another one for you. I would like to put an array formula here that just automatically, whenever I put in the information, it will update the date. That one's less important, but I know it can be done because I remember when I was first starting to work on spreadsheets and whatnot and digging into YouTube on Google Sheets. I found something in a video that was basically an auto update feature. So like whenever you typed anything in a column, it would automatically change the last edited function. And there have been a couple of places where I would like to use that, and I've gone looking for it, and I can never find it. I mean, it's not nearly as important, but it would be nice to have. Yeah, I guess you're right, because whenever I insert one column left, I can just take this and go... Oh! Nope, that doesn't work. Maybe if we go from here. Nope. It does not detect the direction very well at all. Yeah, I just like to have the data I'm working on closer. I know it makes things a little more interesting in terms of working it and whatnot, but I try and like... The spreadsheets I work on where, you know, everything's going, all the information is going across, I tend to just put in a new line and push everything down so you read it from top to bottom. That way the most recent information is at the top. I don't like it. I don't want you to have to scroll through, especially because some of my spreadsheets get super long. I don't want you to have to scroll down for like an hour to get to today's info. More importantly, I don't want to scroll down for an hour to put in today's info, you know? That is one thing I've noticed that does seem to be a limitation. Prime Rogue, skip the tutorial. It's just about worthless. The first thing that you're going to want to do, well, first off, welcome to Splinterlands. Thank you for joining us, and I'm so glad that you came here to Splinterlands TV before you doing anything else, because this is the best possible place for you to be. I'm not saying that to self-aggrandize. I'm here for the next 54 minutes, but we're here 24/7. There are experienced players on this channel all day, every day, and we are more than happy to help you get started. So the first thing I need you to do is put your in-game name in the chat for me, please. Oh, is there free packs at the end of the tutorial? Then go through it, but skip through it because it's not going to teach you anything. The tutorial is not well designed. Your best bet to really kind of get a leg up is you want to go to... You want to go to this website. It's splintercards.com. These are all of the abilities in the game. And this, I feel, is going to be one of your first most important things to start learning. Carry the 0. Love it. Okay. Start learning the abilities. Because that is the most important thing about the cards and the battles and whatnot. And also knowing which cards you want to start leveling up. Not every ability exists in Novice and Bronze, but you're going to want to start out by learning to recognize on site what these abilities are, because you may have already noticed that you don't have very long to pick your cards in Team Select. So you need to kind of know... you don't need to know every single ability off the bat, but the more of them that you do know, the better off you're going to be. There are so many, I know. I will kind of run through them with you here. And also, this is the good thing, is that about this site, you see here, you've got everything by abilities, or by the names, and then you've got the icons as well. The names will give you a decent idea of what they do for kind of quick looking and whatnot, and then the icons is how you're actually going to see them on the cards. But I'll kind of give you a quick run through because we got time, so I can cover. Affliction is basically a heal blocker. It's going to stop your opponent from healing. It has a 50% chance to activate whenever you hit somebody with it. Amplify means that whenever you are returning damage, you are going to deal extra damage. There are a few ways to return damage that we'll get into when we get to them. There's 3 abilities that this affects. They're called Thorns, Reflect Magic, and Return Fire, and you'll see those as we go through them. Backfire means if you attack me and you miss, you're going to take 2 damage coming back at you. Blast means when I hit you, I do half that damage to the monsters that are beside you. Blind means you have a 15% chance to miss me, and it is an ability that is automatically applied to all of your opponent's monsters at the beginning of battle. It does not stack with itself. So if you have 2 monsters with blind, it's still only a 15% mischance. It does stack with all other mischance abilities. Bloodlust is probably the single most broken ability in the game. It means if I hit you and I kill you, I get a whole lot stronger because of it. I get +1 to every stat. So I gain health, I gain armor, I gain damage, I gain speed. If I have 2 different types of damage, I gain damage to both of them. Camouflage means, nah, you can't hit me unless I'm the front monster. Cleanse is exactly what Cleanse does in every RPG, but it only targets your frontline monster. So it will remove all negative effects, but only on your frontline monster. Close range allows ranged monsters to attack from the front position. Normally they cannot. Cripple means when I hit you, regardless of whether or not I actually deal any damage to you, I deal 1 point of damage to your max HP. Hollow and Jim, you guys are nuts. Death Blow means I do twice as much damage if you are the only monster left on the opposing team. Demoralize means I take 1 away from all melee attack. I take 1 away from the melee attack value of all opposing monsters who have more than 1. Dispel means if I hit you, then I will get rid of any positive effects that your monster has. Divine Shield means if I hit you, I do absolutely nothing once. It will block all damage from the first attack received. Additional effects like Cripple will still happen. Dodge means a 25% chance to dodge. Double Strike means I hit you twice. There are some monsters that have 2 different types of attack and Double Strike, so they can potentially attack 4 times in 1 round. Enrage means when you hit me, I get angry and I get faster, and if I'm melee, I do more damage. If I'm magic or ranged, I just get faster and I don't do more damage. Flying means a 25% chance to miss unless the monster that is attacking me also has flying. Force Field means if you do 5 or more damage, no, you do 1 damage. Fury means if I am attacking your monster and it has taunt, I do double damage. Giant Killer means if I'm attacking your monster and it costs more than 10 or more mana, then I do double damage. Halving is only currently on 2 monsters in the game. You're probably not going to have to worry about it, but then again, one of them is brand new, so you might. It means if I hit you, your damage is reduced by half. Headwinds is like Demoralize, only for range damage. It reduces the attack of all ranged monsters on the enemy's team by 1 unless they only have 1. Heal will, on the monster that has it, will heal 1/3 of their max HP every turn. Immunity means I can't be affected by any sort of negative status effects, but I still can have my positive buffs stripped by a Dispel. Inspire means I give +1 attack to all of my own melee units. Knockout means if you're stunned, I hit you twice as hard. Last Stand is insane. It means if I'm the last creature on my team, then I get 50% bonus to speed, health, and damage. Life Leech says when I hit you, I gain half of that damage as max health. Magic Reflect means if you hit me with magic, I hit you back for half the damage. Opportunity means instead of attacking your front monster or back monster, I will attack whatever monster has the least amount of HP. Oppress means if you don't have a damage type, I hit you twice as hard. Phase means, normally, magic does not have a chance to miss. Phase means I can dodge your magic. It doesn't give any additional chance to dodge, just gives the ability to dodge magic. Piercing means I can hit through your armor. So normally if I hit you for 5 damage and you have 1 armor, it doesn't matter. Your 1 armor stopped all 5 damage. If I have piercing, then I will take your 1 armor and the remaining 4 damage will go through to you. Poison means that you take 2 damage at the beginning of every turn, and poison as an ability has a 50% chance to apply the poison debuff to your opponent whenever you hit them. Protect is a buff for your whole team that gives everybody +2 armor. Reach means your melee monster can attack from the second position. Normally, they cannot do so unless they have something else that allows them to. Recharge is actually to charge up. It means I don't attack the first round, I do attack the second, and when I do attack, I do 3 times as much damage. It will then not attack the 3rd round, will attack the 4th round, not attack the 5th, will attack the 6th, etc. Redemption means when I die, I hit everybody on your team for 1 damage. Reflection Shield means that I'm not going to take any damage from Thorns or Return Fire or Magic Reflect or Blast. Repair gives whoever has taken the most damage to their armor 2 armor whenever this creature takes their turn. Resurrect means the first creature that dies comes back with 1 HP and all of their armor. Retaliate means if you hit me with a melee monster, I have a 50% chance to hit you back. Return fire means if you hit me with ranged damage, I will hit you back for 2 damage. For half the damage. Rust means a -2 to all of your armor, or -2 armor to all of the opponent's monsters. If rust means that your monster runs out of armor, then they don't have armor and can't be repaired. Scattershot means I don't care if you have taunt or not, I'm going to shoot randomly and I'm going to target the wrong monster every single time. Scavenger means every time a monster dies, I'm going to gain 1 HP. Shatter means if I hit you, then all of your armor goes bye-bye. However, if I shatter your armor, it can still be repaired. Shield means I take half damage from melee and ranged attacks. Silence is -1 magic damage for all of your opponent's monsters. Can't take it below 1. Slow is -1 speed to all of your opponent's monsters. Can't take it below 1. Snare is an interesting ability. That means if I am targeting a flyer, I cannot miss no matter what. When I hit that flyer, I will remove flying from them, making it easier for the rest of my teammates to hit them. However, it will still be considered a flying monster, so I still can't miss it. Sneak means that I attack the back line instead of the front line, as long as I'm not in the front position. Front position can only attack front position. Same goes for Scattershot if it's paired with close range, or if it's a magic monster. Snipe means that I will not attack the first monster unless something forces me to. I will not attack the first monster, and I will not attack any melee monster that is behind the first monster. I will attack the first monster starting from position 2 that does not have a melee attack. So if it's got no attack, or if it's magic or ranged, and that has a non-melee attack. So like those monsters I mentioned that have 2 types of attacks, they will be snipe targets. That's high level stuff, don't worry about that. Snipe means I attack behind your front line. For bronze, basically. Strengthen means everybody on my team gets +1 HP. Stun is a 50% chance to activate on attack, and it means that you basically take a turn off. Not only from attacking, but also from healing. You can still be healed if if I stun your tank and he has heal, that won't happen for that turn, but anybody else who has tank heal will still be able to heal him. Swiftness is +1 speed to my whole team. Tank heal means that you heal whoever's in the front line exactly like heal for 1/3 of their HP. Taunt means, haha, you have to hit me unless you have Scattershot or can't attack me. Thorns means if you hit me with melee, you take 2 damage back. Notice the difference between Thorns and Return Fire and Magic Reflect. These guys deal half the damage back. Thorns is always 2. So if you get kabluberated for 10 melee damage, you're still only doing 2 damage back. Whereas with Return Fire and Magic Reflect, you would be dealing 5. Trample means if I hit you and I kill you, I can go hit the next monster behind him. That only works once unless there is a specific rule set which will allow it to continue to trigger if it continues to happen. Triage works exactly like tank heal, only it will heal anybody except the tank. It's still 1/3 of max HP. True Strike means I hit you no matter what. Void is like shield, only for magic damage, cuts it in half. Void Armor means that your magic damage will hit my armor first. Normally magic damage doesn't care about armor. And then Weaken is -1 HP to the entire enemy's team. Also can't take it below 1. By the way, don't forget to explain the card levels. Summoner, direct them to peak monsters, and the current reward cards are a cheap way to start getting some owned cards and rent some others. Okay, no, don't buy packs. Don't buy packs. Buy cards, and that's actually what Daru was just talking about. You'll see here on the Splinterland site, come over here to market, and you'll notice that there's a couple of links up here. Don't use the Splinterlands market. It's functional, but Splinterlands made a great game. They did not make a great market. Jim, no. We're trying to teach him to play the game. He is brand new still in the tutorial. Buy tower defense later on down the road, after you learn to play and you have a deck. Tower defense packs are a great long-term hold, and financially they're good. They're not going to help you with your deck. So up here you see Peak Monsters is the first one listed, Monster Market, Card Auctions, and Splex. What we're going to look at right now is Peak Monsters. And so let me kill my filters. This is a wonderful tool for deck management. This is the cards that I own on my rental account. This is also the service that I am renting them out with. And I need to actually come in here and I need to find some things that are not rented. No point in sending you a level 3 actually yet. All right, so the next important thing to know about is summoners and card levels. The level of card that you can use is determined by the level of summoner that you're using. So even if I were to send you a maxed out card, you would not be able to use it without a maxed out summoner. So the most important cards to level up early on are going to be your summoners. Sorry, I'm not intending to go silent. I'm just focusing on what I'm doing here, trying to get you some decent cards to start playing with that you're not going to necessarily have access to off the bat. And some of them that you will, but you'll not be able to earn rewards using them because you do basically have a copy of all common and rare cards from the Chaos Legion set. But using them counts against you. All right, and it's carry the 0 and the O is a 0, right? I almost want to tell you to stop using your account, restart, and use my referral code. If you didn't use a referral code, you should. Alright, actually, yeah, I can post the real referral code in chat. Oh, boom. Holozor's already on it. And then let me know what your name is on that one, and I've got a bunch of cards already set aside that I just took off rental that I can delegate to you to help you get started. Did you already get the spell book? That's the other question. Okay, then never mind. Don't even worry about it. I'm still gonna send you the cards. I swear I picked more than that. I also told you to stop renting. Oof. Wait, you have crazy half-hour time zones over there, Holozor? I'm like, I feel sorry for you just for that. Like, I know they exist. I still think it's crazy. There's 24 hours in a day, and yet there's 28 time zones in the world. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know where all of those stupid not hour time zones are, but I know that they exist, and it's just completely flabbergasting. Because time is an illusion. Yeah, so in just a little under half an hour, Holazor, who you're talking to in the chat there, he's going to be taking over, and he's been playing this game since pretty much since the beginning. He is a great player, also has a very calming ASMR style voice, and I'm sure that he will be pretty helpful for you as well. And may also delegate you some cards or whatnot. Unfortunately, I can't really show you much of any gameplay right now because I don't actually have a deck. I'm pretty sure it's not a falsetto. I can't even picture you going falsetto. But yeah, there's definitely a whole lot to learn about this game. Not only like with the gameplay, but also the economy. There's a lot of things that are going on. There's no shortage of things to learn. Focus on the gameplay first. Fall in love with the game. Otherwise, nothing else actually matters. Hey, what's good, SB? How are you doing today, my friend? Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. And you'll probably have those at least until the end of next season. Like, I delegated them to you, so I can call them back at some point. I didn't, like, send them over. You don't own them. You're not going to be able to sell them or trade them or anything, but you'll be able to play with them. And I'm not in any hurry to claim any of them back or whatnot, so you'll probably have them for a good while. But they'll definitely help you to get started. And the first thing that you're going to want to work on doing is, like, play a bunch with each splinter and figure out which 2 to 3, figure out which 2 to 3 you like best and focus on building those and your neutral cards and kind of ignore the other splinters for a little bit. Get yourself a really good base in 2 to 3 splinters, and then you can expand from there. And you're going to want to try and get out of Novice and out of Bronze as fast as possible because the real game starts in Silver. I guess there's another thing that we could go through real quick. And that is the different rule sets. We currently have 37 different rule sets. And the reason why I say the game starts in Silver is because there's in Novice you don't get rule sets. In Bronze you get 1 rule set and very limited mana caps. In Silver the mana caps start to expand even though you're still somewhat limited, but you start getting 2 rule sets per match. There's sometimes there's only 1, but usually you'll get 2 rule sets per match. And also, Splinterlands, you go to the home page, you come all the way to the bottom, scroll up a little bit, you can click the Visit FAQ here, brings you to this page, come down here to Gameplay. This is not a wonderful tool, but it's helpful in a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways that it's really not helpful in. So we can go here to see the articles. I gotta remember where the rule set one is. That is not where it is. Yeah, the mana caps changing is an important part of what makes the game great, and that's how every battle is different. Like there's very, very rarely you'll actually get a very similar battle a couple of times right after each other in the higher leagues. In novice, it's fairly common because, well, novice and bronze, it's fairly common because all that really changes in novice is the mana cap, and then in bronze, the mana cap changes. It gets a little bit larger of a range, but and then you get one rule set which will change. In silver, you get 2 rule sets that change. You get more variability on the mana cap, and then gold, you get more variability on the mana cap, and you less often do you have the single rule set. Diamond and champion, you get more variability in the mana cap. Not necessarily. There are situations where you go to a lower summoner, but it really more affects the team that you make. You're not going to have many options for summoners. Basically, with you starting out, you're going to have 4 mana summoners, and that's it. Well, I guess you do still have have the ability to play some 3 manas, and when you don't own cards, it's not going to matter as much, but you're going to want to look at the 4 mana summoners for buy-in because they're so much cheaper. Those 3 mana summoners, they're older cards, and they're going to be rotating out of modern relatively soon. And where the heck are the rule sets? I know there's a list of them all, and I know it's here. Why can't I find it? Yeah, the 4 mana summoners are the typical summoners. There are some 3 manas that you have the ability to play, but in terms of buying them, they're a lot more expensive than the other summoners. You got the 4 manas, and then you got the 7 manas, and those are really the only ones that you're going to see more often than not. Oh, and 6. Splinter Tools is really not that great. In my experience. There we go. List of in-game rule sets. All right. There are different amounts of rule sets given in each league. The maximum amount of rule sets a player can get depends on what league they're battling in and shown below. Novice is 0, bronze is 1, silver and above is 2. So standard is what you're used to in novice and means that there's no actual changes to gameplay. Aim true means that melee and ranged attacks will always hit their targets. So, and of course, magic always hit. Basically, it means that there is no such thing as missing. Armored up is all monsters get a +2 armor buff at the beginning of the game. Back to basics means all monsters lose their abilities. Some summoners have abilities that they give their monsters, and those will still happen. Broken arrows means you can't play any monster with ranged. If it's 2 types of attack and it does have ranged, you still can't use it. Close range means monsters with range can attack from the first position, just like the ability. Basically, it gives all monsters the close range ability. Earthquake says all non-flying monsters will take 2 physical damage at the end of every turn. If you a snared monster is non-flying, so it takes the damage, and since the damage is physical, it will be reduced to 1 if the monster has the shield ability. It will also be affected by armor. Yeah, I'm not saying that Splinter Tools is terrible. I'm just saying it's not that helpful. Especially as a new player, if you don't understand why a specific team would lose or win, then it's not going to help you figure that out. Once you understand all of the abilities and everything like that, it becomes more helpful. But in terms of figuring out why something is good or is not good, it doesn't give you any kind of understanding. It's just purely a statistical analysis. Equalizer says all monsters start this with the same health based on the highest health in either team. So if I play all 1 health creatures and you play a 12 health creature, every creature is going to have 12 health. Buffs and debuffs are done after, so this is based on the base health. Equal Opportunity says all units gain the Opportunity ability, which allows them to attack the unit with the lowest health on the enemy team. The frontmost monster will only ever be able to attack the frontmost monster on the other team. So there is also a chart as far as the things that target, the abilities that change targets. They do have a defined kind of tier chart. And we can get to that if I get down there in time. Even Stevens says only monsters with even mana may be used. This does not apply to summoners. Explosive Weaponry says all monsters gain blast. Fog of War means all monsters lose the sneak and snipe ability. So you can't directly attack their backline. You can't directly attack their first non-melee monster. But Opportunity and Scattershot still work just fine. Healed Out means no healing works. That is healing, or heal, tank heal, and triage. Resurrect still works, and repair still work for armor. Heavy Hitters says all monsters gain the knockout ability, so you want to play cards that have stun and cards that have immunity so they can't be stunned. In bronze, the only... Well, actually, in bronze, I don't think you have anything with immunity. And you'll have a few monsters that have stun, thanks to Rift Watchers. The only card in Chaos Legion that has stun at level 1 is Revealer. He's an epic on the death team. Holy Protection says all monsters gain the Divine Shield ability, which reduces the damage of the first attack received to 0. Keep Your Distance says monsters with melee attacks may not be used. So if it's a monster with 2 types of attack and one of them is melee, it cannot be used. Little League says only monsters and summoners which have a mana cost of 4 or less may be used. Lost Legendaries says legendary monsters may not be used. Legendary summoners are still fine. Lost Magic says magic monsters may not be used in battle. Again, if it's got 2 types of attack and one of them is magic, it's still out. Melee Mayhem says melee monsters can attack from any position. Abilities will still take precedence. It basically means normally a melee monster without any attacking or targeting abilities melee monsters without any abilities can only attack from the front position typically, but in this rule set they can attack from anywhere. Noxious Fume says everybody starts the game poison except for those that have immunity, but it can be cleansed, and like there are other ways to beat it. Like if you die and get resurrected, you come back without poison. Odd Ones Out means only odd monster mana costs can be used for monsters. Summoners are not affected. Reverse Speed says monsters with lower speeds will attack before monsters with higher speeds. Miscalculations based on speed will also be reversed. Rise of the Commons says only common and rare monsters may be used in battles. So this one is like Lost Legendaries, but it takes out epics as well. Summoners are not affected by this rule. Silent Summoners said summoners do not give any buffs or debuffs. Spreading Fury means everybody has Enraged. So if they get hit, then they get upset and they get faster. Melee monsters also do more damage. Stampede is the rule set I was talking about earlier, where trample can go all the way through your opponent's team. As long as you continue to hit them and kill them, you will continue to hit them and kill them. Super Sneak says all melee monsters gain the sneak ability. Again, your front monster can't sneak, but any other melee monsters that you're running will have the sneak ability. And they may or may not attack the back line, depending on if they have any other abilities that might override sneak. Again, targeting. Taking sides says no neutral monsters may be used. Again, summoners don't care about taking sides because there is a neutral summoner, and I have a feeling that there is going to be another one soon. All right, have a great night, Daru. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, there is a lot of material. It seems like more than it is. You will become very familiar with all of this stuff and be able to recognize it at a glance. I'm just kind of... And we've also done some deep dives on exactly how a bunch of this stuff works. Like, that's one of the things I like to do. I'm not the best at gameplay. So, like, I do some gameplay, but I'm really... like to take, you know, deeper looks at everything else, because, you know, there are a lot of people on this channel that are much better as far as actually playing than I am. So I try and teach, you know, the things that they're not, because they're busy, you know, showing gameplay. Unprotected means all armor is removed from monsters and they cannot gain armor. Shield and Divine Shield are not armor, so they are unaffected. Up Close and Personal says only monsters with a melee attack can be used. Now you notice how every other time we said if it has this attack, then it still can't be used. Monsters with two types of attacks can be used as long as one of them is melee. So, Warchang is an example that's been given twice already. When it said melee can't be used, and when it said ranged can't be used, you can't use Warchang in either of those rule sets because he has melee and he has ranged. However, in Up Close and Personal, you can use him because he does have a melee. Even though he also has ranged, this is a situation where you can use him because he meets the requirements. And then Weak Magic says magic hits armor first before hitting the health. So basically it gives everybody void armor. And then this is the priority chart. So basically reach is the lowest priority. If you have opportunity and reach, then opportunity takes precedence. If you have snipe and opportunity, snipe takes precedence. If you have sneak and snipe, sneak takes precedence. And if you have scattershot and sneak, scattershot takes precedence. Oh, don't be trying to puff up my ego, stupid SB. It's already high enough. We got about 10 minutes left. So, Prime Rogue, is there any other questions that you have or anything else that I can help you with at the moment? Yeah, join the Discord. Also join the Splinterlands TV Discord. And you, as you watch more, you will be able to follow your favorite streamers on there, be able to get notifications whenever we go live. I am actually, I'm on a lot. Most of us are on once, twice, or sometime. A couple of people have a third time per week. And like I said, Holozor will be coming up next here in less than 10 minutes. I do... Basically, streaming is pretty much my full-time job. So I do a lot of covering and whatnot. So if you watch a lot of Splinterlands TV, you'll be seeing a lot of me. And of course, I'll be, doing the same type of stuff, like taking deep dives into what everything means and how things actually work, testing different combinations of abilities to see how things go like that. A lot of streamers do giveaways. I normally do some, but I just locked all my cards today, so I actually don't have anything to do giveaways with, unfortunately. But thankfully, I was still at least able to delegate them despite being locked. And there's a lot of giveaways. And a lot of languages. You'll have people from all around the world. You'll have people that are in every different league. People that are fairly new to the game, people that have been here for forever, like Holozor. There's a lot of different perspectives, and one of the really cool things about this community in this game that you'll learn as you get in further is that players have a fairly unprecedented amount of control over the game. We actually have a proposal right now that we are currently in the process of voting on that has the potential to drastically change a lot of things in the future of the game. And if it passes, I'm personally of the stance that it should not pass. It is absolutely terrible. And yeah. Yeah, I if you don't have SPS staked, then you can't vote because your voting power is based on the amount of SPS that you have staked. If you are looking to, put something into the game for the long term, staking some SPS would definitely be a good way to go about it, especially with SPS being 2.5 cents right now, whatever it is, would be a good time to accrue some. And I would definitely say that staking SPS is a good move for the future if you intend to be here for a while. I can't say that it's not going to go down any further than it is right now, but I 100% believe that within 2 years SPS will be back to $1, and within 5 to 10 years, we'll see better than that. But it's and don't vote based on what one person says. I mean, I have math and charts and evidence to back up what I feel, but do your own research. And on this one, you're not going to really have time to. But this is what I was going through at the beginning of the stream, and it's what I've been talking about solid for the last week. But basically, this proposal is going to apply some smoke and mirrors to the tokenomics of our primary transactional token called DEC, and it's going to make the tokenomics of it look better in an attempt to get it to the par value that it's supposed to be at. But in reality, it is just going to introduce a whole lot more inflation, and it's going to cause more harm than good. But that's okay. Bear market has been hurting. You plan on staking? Excellent. So yeah, I would definitely say that now is a good time to get SPS. It's ridiculously cheap. It's 2.4 cents right now. And the way that you would vote once you have it, I guess Holozor, I'm not going to have time to do it, but you should teach him how to use Hive Engine. So once you get your SPS, you would bring it into the game. You come in here, and you can see I don't have very much liquid because I'm constantly staking all of mine, but let's go ahead. Claim that. All right. You'll come up here to stake. Click here, stake. It's going to tell you that When you unstake, it's going to take 4 weeks. You'll get 25% after 7 days, 25% after another 7, and so on and so forth. In order to vote, you would come in here, go over to the proposal, and just click the up or down arrow. And then as you stake more SPS, you can power up your vote, like so. Yeah, it's 24.5% APR. This goes down as more gets staked, but it is still pretty good. There's also liquidity pools. When you figure out Hive Engine, you can add to the liquidity pools, which have even better rates of return on some of them, at least. Like Voucher to Swap Hive has a 50% APR. All of my vouchers that I earn from my staked SPS, I end up staking against Swap Hive into that liquidity pool. SPS Swap Hive is 53%. SPS DEC is 48.97% on the SPS side, or well, 48.97 plus 4.9. This used to actually be separated because it used to be some SPS and some DEC that you got, but now it's just DEC, or just SPS. What's good, Elephantium? We got DEC to Swap Hive is 27%. And then these ones are all off-chain. They're not on Hive. This is on Ethereum. This is on Binance. This is on Binance. And then that's on... I don't actually know what blockchain that's on. I don't deal with any of those, but they are there for you if you're already familiar with those blockchains and whatnot. I mostly just deal with Hive and Wax. But we got about 65 seconds left, so I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much for hanging out. As always, I have been Rick. You've been on the mountain. It has been a wonderful time. I do have a personal Twitch channel that I am on midnight my time every night except for Friday night. And also YouTube. Both of those are Rick on the Mountain. And you can also find me on Twitter at RickOnTheMountain10 because they don't give you enough characters to actually type out the full name. Catch you later, SB. Catch you later, Ank. Have a great one. Walk the grid as well. Appreciate all of y'all. Thank you so much for hanging. I will be back Saturday morning, 8 a.m., which is 4 hours from now, here Eastern time. And who knows, maybe I'll have another 1 or 2 in between now and then. Like I said, I like to cover for everyone. Be on my channel in 20 hours, and I will see y'all then. Thank you, and enjoy Halazor.